For me, it was working at the university and just coming up with ideas that I had about commercializing a certain tech for our microchip design. This was 2014, 2015. And back then, a lot of, none of this, these days, commotion or kind of anxiety about microchips was out there. It was kind of a commodity thing. You would just go online and buy it. All these companies were making it. But the reason that I decided to start a company was I saw an opportunity that nobody was addressing. There was a low volume, high value markets. They had this giant equipment that was size of half of this room, and they needed to shrink it into a little, box. And the only way to do that is to miniaturize it, designing a microchip that can do a lot of functions. Microchip technology really works well if you are making a design and then replicating it over millions or hundreds of millions of times into a cell phone or computer. That's what the industry is really built to do. The vertical is built like that. The design cycles, the foundries, fab processes, they only make their money after they scale into hundreds of millions of units that come out to the consumers. So it's very consumer focused. But there's a niche application for areas that in scientific research, medical imaging, other places that the size of the market is not huge, the number of the units is not huge that you sell, but you need to transfer a certain function. And so being able to shrink things down is going to be very useful. And that's the application we entered. And when I first started, everybody thought I was crazy. Like, why would you start making microchips? They're making it in China all the time. Why would you do that? And so I had to explain my way to a lot of people, and eventually finding the right funding agency that was passionate about it. And for us, it was the Department of Energy, Office of Science, because they cared about the experiments that they were doing. They really wanted to help physicists understand energy and matter to the next level, and they needed microchips that operate fast. They take the data and process the data and be able to essentially have answers for their questions. And it was becoming expensive and too bulky for them, so they needed to innovate on that front. And so working at the university, as Dori mentioned, there's $500 million of federal funds that come to UH, a lot of it from all these agencies. So I was a postdoc, and I started listening in, trying to figure out, okay, who's funding the program I'm working on, and then eventually figured out who the program managers are, who the interested parties are, the scientists within the government that are interested in funding this work as a company. And so that's where I came across Department of Energy, Office of Science, and within the Office of Science knowing the program managers, and then them knowing the university, that's an asset again, right? Because that's been here, it's been doing research, it's been doing good work. The professors are known, the grad students are known, the postdocs are known. And so I started a company and then had university as a partner when we went and applied for funding. University was a contractor. My professor at university, my postdoctoral advisor. And so they saw his name and they're like, oh, we know that guy, he's a professor, he's done this. We've been funding him for the past 20 years. And now it looks like he's a student is starting a company, so they should be legit. We're like 5,000 miles away from Washington, D.C., middle of the ocean, right? So that's how we started creating street credit and getting our word listened to, and then eventually going out to D.C., pitching to them again in person, and really talking to them a lot, and them knowing that, okay, we're real people, we have an agenda, we're actually able to execute on